Hey, what's going on, friends, family? My name's Skylint, and just doing a chill video today. Just pooping out a quick one here, talking about the most popular free-to-play games on Steam for summer 2019. I actually do this generally every season or maybe bi-yearly. I haven't decided yet, but I try to update you guys on what the most popular free-to-play games are. That's like browser-based or mobile or on Steam, but generally on Steam because we can actually track those metrics. I'm actually using Steam charts and looking at the current population right now inside of those games, which is going to be basically like midnight in America. So maybe not overall the best factors, but I've also been looking at the trends over the past few days. So I think this list is pretty freaking spot on. Some come, some go. Some are very short-lived, some are very long-winded, but for the most part, I think you'll find this list to be mostly stagnant from the last time we did this video. But hopefully there's going to be some new insights, and I promise there's at least one new game here on the list. So let's have some fun, guys. Most popular free-to-play games on Steam summer 2019. Alright, so let's talk about some honorable mentions, some games that didn't quite make the 10 when previously they were. So first we have Brawlhalla, which at the moment has 5,500 players. Brawlhalla is a game that I stopped playing pretty early on. Even though it was a lot of fun, it just I wasn't really in the mood for it. However, I totally respected it all the way up until Smash Bros. Ultimate came out. Then I decided I wanted to get into platform fighters. I bought Smash Ultimate, and also I started playing a bunch of them. I got Rivals of Aether and a number of others, of course, re-downloaded Brawlhalla, but in the end, oh my god, Smash Bros. Ultimate is just 10 times the game of any other, well, Smash-like. But I will say, Brawlhalla is still kind of a heartfelt favorite. It's actually really unique. Even though it lacks the spectacle and it seems lighter and simpler, it actually is, and for that reason, it's a fun, quick, free game that you can just jump into and have a party and a blast in. Even if you do have Smash Ultimate, yeah, I know nothing really compares, but it can be fun to add this to your free-to-play party game rotation if you got some people over or if you want to play online. Very solid game. Next honorable mention is VR Chat. This game used to really be a titan on this list, high up there in the top 5. Well, now it's sitting at 6,400 players. VR Chat is a game that's really found its niche, so I don't think it's ever going to drop super, super low. There might be a game that eventually overtakes it, but VR Chat is just sort of this magical meme generator that is just so fun to jump into. Honestly, VR Chat's one of those games that I kind of go into when I'm feeling really, really sad. I don't know why, but I guess if you feel lonely and dark and depressed, it's really cool to jump on and have a laugh, a hoot and a holler, or maybe a sincere talk with someone on VR Chat. I don't know, there's lots of mini games, there's silly things to do, and in the end, I know it's seriously just filth and garbage and randomness, but I don't know, there's a little bit of meaning in that, at least coming from me, that's my personal bias. Okay, but number 10, officially, we have Smite. This is a game I really want to get back into, especially because I'm really loving MOBAs and Heroes of the Storm's kind of fallen completely away. But League of Legends, I've been jamming to that. I don't know, Dota's a little bit too time intensive, but Smite, right up my alley, I think. Smite's a game that I used to cover extensively, like every new character that came out, and there's been some really awesome updates to Smite since the last time I've played, or maybe you've played. Anyways, it's sitting at 7,900 players, so pretty respectable consistently. Obviously, it's nowhere near Dota or League of Legends, but Smite, for what it is still the king of the third-person action MOBA genre. Paragon doesn't exist, though there is a fan remake coming of that. In the end, I still very much want to get back into Smite. I still appreciate it, and every once in a while, I'll watch highlight videos on it, so it's still a fun, silly game. Oh, and I will say this, Smite, better than any other game. I don't know why, but their skin game is off the chain. Not really like in terms of production value. It's more like quantity over quality, but the memes, they're pretty awesome. Pretty good stuff. Good job, Smite. Okay, next up we have War Thunder, a game that I consistently say I want to get back into, and every time I make this video, and I say that, somebody in the comments tells me why I shouldn't. Sadly, it seems War Thunder suffers the same fate or monetization scheme as games like World of Tanks, World of Warships, and a number in the same exact genre, where the game can be a little bit grindier. There's really strong units or strong planes, tanks. Well, in this game, you actually have like a mix. There's mixed combat, tanks, planes, boats. I don't know. War Thunder's got a lot of stuff, which is really cool, which is why I want to get into it. I also thought it was a lot more intuitive to jump into than other titles. and overall War Thunder just seemed a bit more sincere versus World of Tanks or World of Warships. But yeah, I don't know. I still feel really weird about games that have you grind to really get into the meat of the title. But a lot of people really enjoy War Thunder. I know a lot of people really love this genre as a whole. World of Tanks Blitz isn't too unpopular, but War Thunder is here on the list here at 8,600 players. Next, we've got Path of Exile. Path of Exile has like the weirdest community. They are so hardcore. If you play Path of Exile, you lose your life to Path of Exile, apparently. Now me, I'm somebody who enjoyed it casually. I thought the story was really poetic. I like the dark world setting. I really didn't enjoy the one button, just kind of run through the entire game experience. The game is really more focused on strategy, and at that point, I almost wish the game didn't label itself as an action RPG, and it was actually more automatic. The paper doll is the entire game, and that sort of differentiation between Diablo or games like Dark Souls or other, action RPG, Path of Exile, there's a lot going on the screen, but overall in terms of button presses, not too actiony. So that's probably why it's a little bit lower versus some competitors that are also on the list. So at 8,700 players, it's pretty respectable for such a hardcore game that is known as the spiritual successor to Diablo 2. If you haven't tried Path of Exile, it is intensive. It's crazy, but despite what the community might say about Path of Exile and how you should really play it and how it has competitive leagues and there's like tons to do and you need to research and watch videos before you even play, I don't believe that. I think you can go in and have fun and just enjoy the world setting for what it is. The story, you just play it. You just play it up. It's fine enough. Yeah, you might make some mistakes. It might get very, very difficult, but that's kind of also a part of the appeal, I think. Moving on through, we got Paladins. So basically, I mean, every time I mention Paladins, I have to say this because I believe in comparing and contrasting is how you do proper reviews. Yeah, Paladins is kind of a worse Overwatch in a lot of ways. In some ways, it is different, but in terms of what I play Overwatch for, the competition, the heroes, the tightness of the controls, Paladins doesn't have that. But if you want a game that's really silly, obviously it's free to play. You can just jump in and play around with it. You can do that, and it's really cool. I love playing this game on stream. You guys join me, and there definitely is a hoot and holler. And frankly, some heroes are better. I think Bomb King is a better Junkrat, and etc. There's a few others. Like I think Maeve better Genji. But overall, Paladins is not the game I play for competitive reasons. It's filled with glitches and bugs and things like that. And it looks like, they kind of just randomly update it. Again, quantity over quality, which I actually like it for that reason. But man, I really wish it was more solid for competition. But 8,800 players is a lot better than Realm Royale's doing. It's pretty decent. Obviously, nowhere near Overwatch or Team Fortress numbers, but, it's a fun, silly game. The one thing that's really detrimental to Paladins, in my opinion, is, the reason I said it's so cool is it's so easy to jump into and play around with different heroes and the different cards and the builds. Well, no, it's kind of difficult because you have to unlock the heroes, you have to gather the cards, it's a grind. So yeah, same thing with War Thunder. It's just, Wow, this game is always surprising. You think people would have kind of turned away from it, playing Minecraft minigames or Roblox, but all these type of games still have such an audience. Unturned at 10,300 players that's just so freaking cool. This game was one of those games that I really tried to champion back in the day when it was first announced. I tried to do some videos on it. I kind of wish I played it more, but I mean, basically, it's just a cute free-to-play DayZ. That's kind of how it originated. That's how it started out. And in the end, it actually launched with features that a lot of these other DayZ likes couldn't even put in, such as cars or like a lighting system or, certain weapons and how scopes work in this game. Like it's actually fundamentally pretty freaking decent, despite how kind of poopy it looks. That's also part of the charm. It's a fun game. I think it's like a cute horror-ish, survival-y, PvP type of game that you can play with kids, that you play with the family, which is pretty unique. So yeah, for a free-to-play game, I love to champion Unturned. All right, but halfway on our list now, we have the newcomer, and that's Dota Underlords. Now, if this wasn't a Steam list, obviously we could talk about all of Auto Chess, And just quickly, I will say, all of Auto Chess is incredibly popular. I personally play literally the original Auto Chess on my mobile phone every single day, but Dota Underlords is pretty freaking decent. I think if you play a number of Auto Chesses, that's totally fine. They're different enough with the different units. The deck building, it's pretty fun. Dota Underlords is where we're going to start seeing games get a lot more popular. So we have 37,600 players in Dota Underlords. It's a really fun auto chess game, but I want to know your feelings in the comments below. Which auto chess is your personal favorite? I am really looking forward to Team Fight Tactics. I want to play more of that as it becomes less glitchy and more balanced. But right now, my most played by far is the OG auto chess, which by the way just got a big update on mobile. But Dota Underlords, fantastic game. Also, keep in mind that maybe these numbers are a little bit lower. I don't know, or maybe they're inflated because you can actually play this game on mobile devices and it is cross-platform. Number 4 is a game that will not die, and for a lot of different reasons, and I'll give you my thoughts and feelings. But at 40,800 players, Team Fortress 2, it's not hemorrhaging at the speed that I thought it would. A lot of people thought Team Fortress 2 would really take a hit when Overwatch came out, and it did technically take a hit, but that's just kind of how popular Team Fortress 2 was. It's just a monster. And at the same time, the reason why people play Team Fortress 2 is a little bit different than Overwatch. So Overwatch is that competitive game, and Team Fortress 2 is a silly game. It's a really silly bonkers game, which is why a lot of people are enjoying Fortnite and a few other titles. But Team Fortress 2, maybe a lot of you guys don't realize, has a lot of fun custom servers, surf maps. I remember playing Simon Says in one of them. Team Fortress 2, also the environment, it's kind of hard to explain, but different games do have different communities. And the environment for Team Fortress 2, when you join a pickup game, is very different. It's something special. I remember playing Team Fortress 2 on the daily when I was in Full Sail University studying game design, and it was really a great stress relief. And now today, well, it's starting to show its age, obviously, especially when you can go play Paladins, you can go play Overwatch, but really, me personally, and I think most people, as we can see by stats, is, yeah, you'll play your Overwatch for competitive, and Team Fortress 2 for the silly factors. Paladins are kind of waning down there, but Team Fortress 2 does kind of have a competitive scene-ish. It was always kind of thrown together. It's never like, you know, the full league circuit that Overwatch has, but Team Fortress 2, still pretty freaking solid game. I bet we got 5 more years strong, maybe even more. Maybe it's forever, you know, because of the custom game system that this has. Team Fortress 2 is, I don't know, it's such a silly, cool game, and a lot of people actually play it and enjoy it for the trading aspect. You cannot discount the Steam store and the Steam trading aspect to these games. Okay, number 3 is probably, I would put this, actually, I think I'm inspired now. I think I'm going to do it. Tell me in the comments below if I should. A AAA free-to-play list. You know, free-to-play games that you would consider AAA. Because I think Warframe just inspired me to do that list. Warframe is a very interesting case of a game that it started out really small. I was actually one of the first people to ever get into the game and cover it. And it, well, it's turned into something. I definitely have some thoughts and feelings. You can kind of tell I'm sort of stuttering. I'm sort of holding off on what I want to say. But you know what? We're just throwing this video out there. My heartfelt feelings is that Warframe, it is AAA. It does have a campaign. It does have a pretty interesting story that's starting to unravel. There's some very awesome mechanics, like Path of Exile, a very grindy RNG-based game that has a lot of customization, but Warframe has that action. You know, it's so fun to control your frame, you know, dashing around, slicing and dicing, and the power fantasy is literally more fantastic in this game than any other game I've ever played. That's counting Dynasty Warriors, you know, things like that. Another action RPG. But Warframe, it is pretty buggy, actually. It's pretty glitchy. Because they kind of just spam content. There's a lot of reused content, and overall there's some monetization that I really don't agree with, such as the crafting timers, and I feel like they're a little bit heinous with their updates, everything always tying into the grind and tying into the cash shop, which is extremely expensive. However, they do have player trading, which a lot of people just sit on Warframe to do the trading. 44,000 players, guys. But if you're just like an average gamer, it's an interesting game, but you probably like me will also feel like this game could be really amazing, but it's also kind of poop. which is probably why it's not really ascended into godlyhood like the next two games on our list. Okay, CSGO. I got some thoughts and feelings about CSGO. So Counter-Strike Global Offensive, I know it's popular. I know there's like all these unique mechanics to it. Mainly, I've really favored the idea of an economy in between the different rounds. I love progression mechanics. So, you see that in like auto chess, you see that in MOBAs, and generally like action RPG. It's really rare to get it in PvP games though, except for the few that I named, but CSGO does have that. In between rounds, depending on how well you do, you get money, and then you could buy different weapons and kind of equip your character. That's a really interesting gimmick that a lot of games, even clones, forgo in order to monetize it. CSGO being free to play has surged its popularity. It's a very competitive game. I try watching the esports, and overall, it's a little tame. It's a little boring, I think, but overall, very professional esports scene. Absolutely. There's a lot of history with that, and I have tried to watch it. But for me personally, I'm just kind of a Rainbow Six Siege kind of guy. I like that kind of experience. If I want to play a slower paced shooter, I will probably jump into a battle royale. But CSGO still technically has some really unique mechanics that I'm surprised that we haven't seen in more games. But yeah, 243,200 players. The leap from Warframe is insanity. Yeah, I said 243,000, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so number 1, Dota 2, 315,700 players. That's a freaking lot of players. Yeah, that's like all the other games on this list combined. So why is it so popular? I'm gonna give you my thoughts and feelings. Dota 2 is a fun game. My first love was Juggernaut, and learning the game with him was a blast. But now I really appreciate Dota 2 for what makes it unique. And that's going to be characters like Earth Spirit, or mainly like Broodmother and Nature's Prophet. The RTSE and very clicky, very macro style characters. Because Dota 2 is a very macro and very strategy focused type of game. League of Legends is mechanics focused. But Dota 2, very, very, intellectual. The items are bonkers, they're ridiculous, and the different kind of builds that you can do are so fun. The roles that you can do are very flexible inside of Dota 2 as well, but it's a big learning curve. However, a bigger learning curve than League of Legends, overall more complex in terms of needing to memorize, but in terms of mechanics, there's quite a wide variety in the characters, but overall it's not as a fighting game like League of Legends. League of Legends also has like way bigger updates, way more bombastic, crazier skins and events, and overall is a bigger, more competitive bunny ears game. But why does Dota 2 still reign so hard? That's just because the game itself is so consistent. No, it doesn't have those ridiculously, game-changing updates too often. But that's also the same reason why people really enjoy it. Same thing with CSGO. Some games just are solid. They're just really freaking good. They're generally very, very balanced. And Dota 2 is that game. The matches can last a long time. It's not that newbie friendly. There's a lot of reasons why it shouldn't be popular. But the thing is it's just a good, solid game. And once you get into it, it's kind of hard to forget about it. Yeah, there's some competition, but I guess there's room in the world for a couple different great MOBAs. Though, Here's the Storm said goodbye. Dota 2 definitely has shown that it's here to stay. So guys, that's pretty much it. My thoughts and feelings, some of these games. I was a little bit rambly, a little bit ranty, but I'm not really sure what you guys want from a video like this. It's just simple stats. I don't really even get to make the top 10, so I just wanted to throw, my heart into a couple of these games. Hope you guys enjoyed them. I played them a little bit. I need to jump back into these again, like Path of Exile and Warframe had some huge updates that I need to check out. I'm still, a little bit new to Unturned and War Thunder and CSGO. I've played 3 games. I have watched it much more than played. So yeah, I need to jump back into these games as well. But let me know your thoughts and feelings on different, these games. Which ones do you want me to cover? What kind of videos do you want to see? And do you agree with me and my thoughts and feelings on these games? It's called Scotland Games, but you're also part of the show. Let me know in the comments below. Much love, guys. Keep the hype alive. Yeah? And I'll see you again next time.